welcome to the studio African Utility Week. I'm Rose Bundock and I'm joined now by Marie Strannegard, Head of Utilities at Ericsson.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Marie.
Thank you so much, it's my pleasure.
We have been seeing Ericsson a lot in the global metering smart grid space in terms of winning metering rollouts in Estonia, in Norway. Can you tell us what's going on at Ericsson? There's been a change. What's happening?
There is a change. Ericsson has a tradition of being in the telco space and have been so for over 130 years. But now, since the last 3-4 years, we've also been looking into new industries because we can see there are other industries also need a similar transformation as the telco did. And so now, since last year in March, we are ramping up 3 new industries: public safety, transportation and utilities. And I then work in the utility space. And we are focusing on many different things, but mainly it is now rolling out smart meters in some of the regions where that is happening, but also we are trying to help customers in increasing the smartness of the grid, helping them to monitor the grid in a better way and to operate it with excellence. And that experience we have from telecom, and I think we can also take some of the experiences from what the telco industry did and then to transform it over to utilities.
So would you offer a utility like an end-to-end service? Is that
yeah, we can do that for
partners?
metering. Definitely we can do that. We can just offer a meter value to the customers or deliver a meter value to the customer at the frequency that the customer wants. So that is one of the areas definitely where we can manage the service for the customer.
Okay, and you've obviously, you're getting business in Northern Europe. And beyond that, have you got, kind of global ambitions?
No, we are actually ramping up this globally. So it's not only Northern Europe. The ones you were mentioning, yes, that was in Europe. But we do have customers in Southern Europe. We do have customers even actually in Africa that we are talking with. We have in the Middle East. We have contracts in the States with, for example, Duke Energy, Hydro-Quebec. We have South America as well. So we are ramping up this initiative globally for sure. And in the end of this year, we will have people and resources in all our 10 regions. We have divided our world into 10 regions. So we will have utilities up and running in the end of this year everywhere.
Okay. And what needs would you say, I mean obviously it varies region to region, but what needs do the utilities have? What are you kind of hearing them tell you?
I mean the global outlook for utilities is so different dependent on where you are, and maybe that is one of the challenges because there is no global standardization or a global way of doing things or one size fits all type of thing. In Europe, for example, you have a stagnating power demand. Here you have an increasing power demand. In Asia the same. But there are different solutions dependent on the region and where we go. Now, in most countries, there is a need for energy efficiency and to try to operate everything in a better way or with higher excellence. So that is kind of common for everyone. And most countries are also focusing more on the consumer, trying to increase the quality of their services to the consumer, which is also an area where Ericsson have been working a lot with customer experience. So I think we see some trends, but Africa, Asia, it's more about technical and commercial losses and try to help and support in that. Europe, it's a lot about new products and services for the end consumers and metering. In the States, the same. A lot about new products and services. Latin America, it's more rolling out meters, controlling the grid, try to increase the quality of the grid infrastructure. So it's a bit different.
So you've been talking at the conference about the networked society. In those different regions, would you eventually build up to that same goal?
Yeah, definitely. So our vision is that many things will be connected in the future. And we're talking about 50 billion devices being connected in 15 years from now. I think it might even go faster than that. But yes, we believe that cars will be connected, that ferries will be connected, that of course the grid will be connected. People through the phones are already connected today, but things in the house will be connected. You can have sub-metering in your socket so that you can switch on and off your telly when you're sitting here in South Africa and my kids are back home in Sweden. So there is technology already today, and we believe that this vision of the network society will happen everywhere. It will just be different pace, of course, but yes, it will happen.
And what, I mean, from coming to Africa and seeing and hearing from utilities about their particular concerns, what kind of smart grid applications would you bring over immediately, or what are immediately relevant, would you say?
The interest now when I speak to people is a lot about smart metering, and they have already lots of pilots ongoing, but I think what Africa can do is also to take a frog leap into the smart society and try to look at it more from a macro perspective and see how things can be connected between the different sectors, which is something we didn't do as much in Europe. We have done more individual initiatives between the different sectors, and now we try to connect those things, building smart cities, building smart societies to increase traffic flow or to get more intelligence into the system, transportation, electricity, for example, if you have EVs traveling around. So hopefully Africa could investigate and the different initiatives across the globe and then pick the ones that fits best with the needs here. That is definitely what I would recommend. But smart metering is an easy one, but then the second one would be commercial and technical losses that we need to support with in order to reduce the losses in the system so that what you produce actually reaches the end consumer and also is being invoiced.
So you mentioned that utilities are looking for revenue losses, to improve revenue losses. And what kind of functionality would you recommend on the metering technology?
Well, that's a difficult question for me to answer. What I think we need in order to detect the losses, you need to have metering more frequent in the system. So you have sub-metering out on various levels in medium voltage and low voltage so that you can detect typical frauds or other type of losses that you might have. If you do have a smart meter at the residential level, then of course you can detect, if you also have business intelligence systems, whether the meter all of a sudden is behaving in a different way. So that will solve some of the problems. So that is something that would be needed in order to detect that.
So what is Ericsson's approach if a utility from Uganda comes to you and says, look, we've got this particular need? What's the approach that you're taking to kind of meet that
first
need?
we will look at the requirements from the government. There are so different regulatory frameworks all across the globe. Even between Sweden, UK, South Africa, Australia, you have 4 different market dynamics, 4 different regulations. So we need to understand first, of course, the national requirements, and that we do first. Dependent on that, we look at the needs, we look at the losses, we look at the current situation with a mix of residential customers and B2B customers, and then based on that, we propose a plan going forward.
And there's been a lot of talk at the conference about turning consumers from being passive receivers of power to active. What's Ericsson's stance on that?
Yes, we do believe that people need to be more active, and we would like to see people being more interested in electricity or utilities, water, electricity, or whatever have you. Today, most people don't even know how much they consume on an annual basis, so I think we need to start somewhere. I personally do not believe that people will change their behavior dramatically, but I do believe that we can support them with technology so that they can become energy efficient and not having to change completely the way of living so that they can continue to shower in hot water whenever they want to. But we can help them and to give them information on the load of the system, whether there is renewable in the system or whether it's fossil, fuels in the system, what the electricity price is like, and then of course the user can decide, him or herself, whether he wants to act on that. Alternatively, we can put technology in household appliances that can automatically detect whether the system has low load, and for that reason maybe then start to be active or not. That's what I hope, that people or things will be connected, things will have a smartness so that people can remain and continue with their comfort and not change their behavior completely.
And lastly, can I ask you, I mean, Ericsson obviously sees opportunity within smart grid, you know, the global market. I mean, what are your kind of predictions over the next year? Where do you see the kind of hot areas?
Markets?
Yeah.
I see them actually everywhere, because this industry needs a transformation, that's for sure. So Asia in one way, with the need of increasing power demands, you know, we can build up microgrids to support villages that don't have power today. Same with Africa. And then in Europe, it's a totally different requirement than in Asia and Africa, but definitely they need transformation as well, because they need to serve the customers in a different way and offer them other type of products and services. So for that reason, it's also a hotspot. Same with the States, same Latin America. Australia is taking a totally different path and going towards another type of regulation than Europe and others are doing, which is also very interesting to follow. So it's happening everywhere, but in different ways. So utilities is a really exciting industry to be working in right now.
Great, well, we wish you lots of luck with it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's all from the Studio Africa Utility Week. Thanks for watching.